Hello all and welcome to AFAX. Today we'll be speaking with Mr. Prasad Shejale, who is the founder and CEO of LS Digital, and Mr. Venugopal Ganganna. He is the co-founder and CIO of LS Digital. To brief about what we'll be talking today is that LS Digital will be launching their AI stack website, which will help businesses, help go through their all. Uh, Businesses enhance their businesses and how they operate and engage with consumers, and this is also going to be very much helpful for the CMOs. So to begin with, my first question to you, Prasad sir, is that if we could walk us through what is this AI stack website about and what marketing needs will it resolve.
I think it's a very thank you very much, Ruchika, for getting me on this and asking me very relevant questions, which are very relevant for what's happening in the world as of now. A few months back, years back, I used to say that, for medicine for every problem in the world is going to be AI in a very jocular way. And there comes a time wherein, you see it happening in a very reality perspective. Could be, at the same time, Ruchika, also feel is that while so much of discussion has been happening and so much of technology is getting built, I mean, the pace at which the AI tech is getting built is so fast. Okay, and at the same time, it also adds a lot of pressure on the businesses to, how to use it. But at the same time, what could also happen is that there is a good amount of um, you know, scare, confusion, where to start from, how to justify return on investment. There are a lot of questions which marketeers could be struggling with. At the same time, a fear that the competition would be using AI much faster for the frictionless consumer journeys, right? So we started talking to people. We said that, what is sort of stopping you, or what would make you use AI? It even from the very baby steps, right? Okay, and then we realized is that can we build a construct, which I will ask Venu to probably talk about it, by which how can I hold hand with the marketeers to make sure that they start walking on the path of AI, right? And that's a seed of putting the, you said website, but I would say that it's a whole stack of product and services coming together, service products, right? Okay, which is probably has multiple components where depending on the industry, the maturity of the brand, okay, we could help them to walk onto it. And there are certain things in investment that we have been doing for last few quarters. How do I make it available, okay, to start with? Okay, to the consumer. I mean, my consumer is the B2B marketers. When over to you, probably you are the best one. You have conceptualized it better, and should be able to talk about it, right? Venu,
Yep.
you want to sort
Ruchika,
of
good morning.
unveil the
Yeah,
components of the AI? Yeah.
thanks, Prasad. Thanks, Ruchika, for having me. Yeah, I think our job is to simplify the complex world of AI for marketeers. Any brand, any CMO, any head of digital, any media person, any creative person, any strategy person, always on the brand side, struggle with how can I do all of this faster, better, quicker, effective, and efficiently, right? So that's where our journey started, and what we are saying is, in the entire world of marketing, from building strategic insights, from taking great insights from consumers, category, competition, uh, uh, everything. How can I build these insights, use those insights to build things better, which is create great content, campaign, all of that, and then also able to predict what's going to happen to my business if I start using these aspects. These are the three foundations on which we started building the AI marketing stack, right? Happy to go deeper as we go into these conversations, but at the foundation level, we're saying, hey, marketers, don't stress. Here is an easy way. We have componentized everything. Don't get scared about AI. We have removed all the barriers. Come adopt it, see the impact in your business.
Of course, I was about to actually get into that about the part where you mentioned that marketers might get overwhelmed by the complexity, if at all, if anything is there. Since AI is a powerful tool for analyzing consumer behavior, so how will this platform ensure that CMOs will derive actionable insights from vast data sets?
So, Ruchika, in order to understand insights, you have to understand human behaviors. That's what marketeers live and thrive on. In order to understand behavior, the truth is in the data. That means in the world of digital, how are people behaving? What are they talking about? What videos they consume? What image they connect with? What values? What triggers? What barriers? How do they come into a brand journey? Anything and everything with the advent of AI, we can take the mass data that's available in digital and try and make sense out of it. So what used to take 3 months, 4 months to do a research in a category. For example, Ruchika, I saw your articles. You write about wedding category. You write about the glamour. You write about the veg versus vegan category. So how can we do all of that efficiently using better tools, processes in few weeks, so that marketeers can take that insights and make implications out of it faster, right? That's the first piece. So go to outside data, go to behavioral data, and then marry it to your inside behavioral data and make sense out of it is a first step towards the AI journey for any marketer.
Understood. So, coming to the methodologies or metrics, so what are some of these that LS Digital proposes to help businesses measure the impact, particularly on growth, customer engagement, and operational efficiency?
I think I'll take that, but before that, I
Yep.
think before I speak about it, you have to probably go back to a few years and probably quarters, and how the journey started for us, right?
Okay.
Being the largest independent digital agency and trying to have a global aspiration and sort of offices across the globe, and so our ability to understand what's happening in the space, okay, really is, and of course our background of
Right.
technology also helps a lot. All of us, Mimi, Venu, have come through a lot of background of technology. So, where technology sort of meets creativity and marketing and consumer experience is something which probably is always was forte and will always be the forte for us, right? We started sensing, AI is going to be a differentiator a lot. And that is where we started investing a lot in that, right? So, what we think is that in the whole marketing's sphere, understanding consumer, which is research, is an important step onto it, right? Now, how do I make it easier for parsing through the open data and look into that? Venu already talk about it. I'm not getting deeper into that, but from there, how do I use it? Okay, once that, then how do I use it for generative? Okay, I think Venu will talk about it, and the last one is the predict. So the whole
Right.
model that we are talking about is that you talk about framework, right? That triggered this thought process, right?
Yes.
Research is the bedrock of anything which marketeer does, right? Then comes the generative, and then comes the predictive, right? And there are multiple different aspects and use cases and case studies that we have to handhold the consumer from there to here. Now, why it is critical for us is that when we are aspiring to be a global one, challenge the now was always the mantra for us, right? How do I challenge the existing status quo, and what are the tools and technologies and systems and processes and services and products that we should, under partners that we should integrate to make it happen, right? So that
Right.
becomes a base for us, and that is where once we are talking about, how do you simplify it? Okay, that's the reason this framework of ours, from research to generative to AI, became the critical part for us to build the use cases and service products for us. Venu, to you, I thought of, since you said about, framework, I thought of
Correct.
getting this.
So in this AI stack, Ruchika, we are addressing over 30 to 40 use cases, different marketers, different stage of brands, there are different problems they encounter, right? So
Yeah.
that's why the ROI/metrics, the way we measure it at the top is three metrics about, is this increasing my productivity? Is this
Hmm.
reducing my time to deliver something? is it reducing my cost? Across the board, we are saying almost 15 to 30% of reduction across these three key business metrics, right? But when you go down, is different metrics for different use cases. Metrics for research is a efficiency cost plus time use case, and a use case for doing better creative, hyper personalized, faster creative is a matter of time, right? So at the large, productivity improvements, delivery time, and reduced cost almost at 25 to 30%. And when you go into deep down on the 30 use cases, different metrics are coming alive. The good thing is, from where we were last year till now, adoption has skyrocketed. The barriers are removing. That's where we want to play a key role to say that, like, whatever you think are the barriers now, that's out. Come with us on this journey. I'm going to help you do all of this research very exclusively, very fast for you. You see the results, then move into generative and product, Ruchika.
Got it, sir. And coming to the customer retention and loyalty part, so how will the AI enhancement on LS Digital's AI stack will help businesses engage with their audiences?
See,
So, yeah,
again,
Prasad.
I'll just do
Uh,
one half a minute on that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So it's very, Ruchika, this is as the Venu was saying, okay, it depends on the use case. For example, what you are talking about retention is a propensity of understanding. There are two parts to it. When can using the AI suite of products and services, and of course business understanding and integration of the data, would I be able to understand who among these customers have a high propensity to drop out? Okay, that's the
Right.
first step, right? And then the second one is, if you know where it is, then the second step is also comes from, how do I actually, create an experience, or, remove those frictions in his life so that he remains with us for a longer one. Okay, again, this is so two parts: identifying who propensity of those who lose out, and identifying what will make him to be happy. Okay, these are two different aspects to it. Okay, and these two different use cases clearly. Okay, so so when you're asking how does it help, okay, how do you actually, and again it depends on the in the industry and the type of data that probably would be available for you. Okay, but to answer, it is humanly impossible, okay,
Okay.
to understand, okay, multiple data points to make a guess. Otherwise we always worked on broader something, that the probability this demographics have a higher, you look into the data, but how will it be that you can actually, the system tells you that who has a higher propensity from a row item wise. Prasad has a high propensity that there's a 99% propensity that he would be, dropping out, right? And that is where probably it's, we can talk about it from multiple, because we are getting into the realms of how to integrate data and different parameters to it. But that is what I would say. Venu, over to you.
So just one addition there, Ruchika. One is to identify what does loyalty mean, what does retention mean.
Right.
For that, you need a maturity to marry outside data, inside data, and make those decisions. But a lot of that is putting into action on the ground of saying like, oh, because I know that, now I'm gonna build a very hyper personalized communication stack on multi-touch point with my consumers. So I know that like, this person while buying an insurance has a higher probability by falling out of the third screen when he or she is putting the information. Now, how do I intervene? That's where the experience comes. That's where the communication, hyper personalization communication comes, hyper personalized creative comes. That's one of the use case. Then you can apply that into retargeting, that can apply into what channel. For example, using AI, we can figure out what is the channel intelligence. See, there is consumer intelligence, there is channel
Yes.
intelligence, there is my intelligence of my data. So now I can take a use case of saying, hey, there are certain set of people when they start from this channel, they hang around in a different channel. So if I feel that they're losing out or they're going to drop off, I'm going to go to that channel and activate a retargeting. So it's a mechanism of, it's not that like we were not doing this. We were doing this in a very slow manner. After 4 weeks, we will understand who is going to drop off. After 3 weeks, we will come up with an hypothesis. After 3 weeks, we would have launched a campaign and taken the customer in. Now all that can happen in days and weeks. That's what AI has done, and that's what the stack helps in.
Got it. So, yeah, Mr. Kangana, you mentioned about hyper personalization. We're seeing that marketers are increasingly talking now. They're talking nowadays. They're talking about hyper personalization, personalized ads, how to get more and more personalized for their consumers.
Mhm.
So, since this is a growing trend, how does LS Digital's AI stack will ensure that ethical data usage is done while providing meaningful and personalized experiences to consumers?
Okay, two key inputs. When somebody in our experiences says hyper personalized communication, a lot of them go into the creative and last mile touch point of hyper personalization. We are
Right.
saying that starts in ground zero, which is the game of data, which is game of intelligence, which is ethical, GDPR compliant, non-aggregated, anonymous data, using which I can make certain decisions. Because that's at
Right.
the heart. If you get that right, the last mile comms can be within the boundaries of what is needed and what is not needed, right? So we want to shift the focus from last mile comms to intelligence engine in a very ethical world of building a propensity models. For example, what Prasad was saying, right? So the maturity is there in the step one. The augmentation and the implication is on the step number two, right? So in our AI stack, we are saying, I will give you all the inputs on within the controlled boundary, within the sandbox of your environment, without
Right.
having any data privacy issues. I will give you intelligence. Based on that intelligence, now let's make a decision to reach out five different ways, right? Both are jointed in our AI stack, which is again coming back to, if I don't do the research and the modeling perfectly, I can never generate stuff perfectly, right?
Indeed.
So generating hyper personalization is only small piece of it. Research to generate to predict. Now I did the hyper personalization. I should be able to predict because I did this hyper personalization. Ruchika's probability of staying with us is better and more is a predictive AI. So we need to look at the
Yes.
full stack, Ruchika. That's where the differentiation is coming from for what we are offering.
Yeah, I think
Understood.
Ruchika, and there is a very interesting one, because when Venu was talking about it, something came to me really in my mind is that at the end of it, you know what, we come from a lot of technology background, right? The basic principle of any AI use case is the velocity of the data in a privacy safe world, right? Okay, if you take care of that, then the things gets, built on it. Any agentic AI, in a AI which we are talking about. So from auto to entertainment to BFSI to healthcare to e-com to beauty and wellness to gaming. Okay, we have multiple gaming also. Okay, we have multiple use cases which we have sort of thought through, and some of the use cases that we have worked on, helping the
Yeah.
data integration that way, right? And it's trying to solve the problem. So there's a considerable amount of understanding, but at the same time, I would say the speed at which the world is changing. Okay, every day something or the other comes to our mind and we are sort of seeing how do we implement for our customer. And but one of the most important thing is that our customers should start walking along on these platforms, and that's the reason we thought of opening it up for them in some of the parts which could be easy to pick it up for them, right? Okay, so that's from my side. Yeah.
Understood, understood. And since we were on the discussion of almost about the diagnostic, predictive, and generative AI, so if you both could elaborate on how these are, how you are integrating this in your AI stack, and how will it cater and address to CMOs and businesses across different challenges.
Okay, maybe I will take a couple of generic cases which we have implemented. I think in the flow you will understand. Let's say we are working with uh, one of the largest automaker to launch a new car. Okay,
Okay.
uh,
Okay.
it starts from research because it's a new car to a different segment. What does the category of car means? Who are these consumers who's gonna buy this kind of car? How is the competition positioning themselves, and me as a brand, what do people gravitate towards? I'm going to mix all of that, and we came up with 20 different insights, and in that we identified one large insight saying techno buyer A car buyer decides a lot of their decision based on technology of the car, not on the design, not on the shape, not on the color, not of that, but technology, right? So from there we moved into generate. Oh, because we hooked up on this insight, we want to create a campaign for a certain cohort, for a certain demographics, using technology as a bedrock. So
Hmm.
then we launch the campaign. Then while launching the campaign, we say like, hey, oh, now I've created a social calendar like this, a communication creative like this. Let me now put it into my predictive engine to see whether this will now really work for, because I've identified Ruchika as a cohort. Will that work? Will this communication, will this content, will this creative really open up our mind? Will it evoke the right emotions, values, right?
Hmm.
That is a predictive. So we went through from research to generate to predict, and that hits the market. And this entire thing is a 6 weeks process compared to what is a 4 months, 5 months process, right? Um, that can apply for banking, that can apply for insurance. One of the other use cases which we are working with is on a beauty and wellness space, right?
Hmm.
Okay, I'm launching a dermo brand
Hmm.
globally, very specific to night usage brand with
Hmm.
this ingredient, with certain aspects to Gen Z with certain income. If that is what the brand wants to do, you go deeper into understanding in which countries, which cohorts will attach like this. Again, insights, and then
Hmm.
say, hey, the way we will launch this in Brazil to Indonesia, you can draw parallel to India. The way we will launch a mutual fund brand in Chennai to Delhi will be very different. And we are applying that into generative and then predictive, and that's where the efficiencies are coming into Chika. Hopefully
There's
that,
one more, yeah,
yeah,
sure. One more, Ruchika, this is a research and generative. Okay, I would talk about, from the predictive understanding also, right? For the large life insurance company,
Hmm.
there's around, 5 systems and data got integrated, to understand one consumer view. And then we ran it through algorithms to understand what are the distinct cohorts. So basically, it's
yeah,
a audience segmentation based on algorithms across 39 different parameters. Just imagine how much value that it creates to understand this four distinct, mutually exclusive, almost mutually exclusive cohorts and how do they behave. That adds a lot of understanding in terms of what sort of product services, landing pages, communication, creative, okay, needs to be built for these people, right? Okay, so where do you put in? You put it not just from the research to generative, but understanding your existing data, layered it on top of it, the outside data to understand the consumer, which are very distinct, the cohorts that way, and that the strategies get it. It's very humongously, what I would say, early adopters like this would get a distinctive benefit of against their competitions to move faster,
for sure.
right? Because it adds to their media, creative, product, everything, right? So very
Hmm.
beautiful, and that's the reason we always say it's no longer AI is a choice
Nice
now.
to have. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
it's no
Right.
longer. It is no longer. It is by default. Okay, you don't, and that's the reason. And no one should wait for. Let's wait for the perfect technology now. No, start dirtying your hands now. In a very jocular way, always I say, those around 10 years back who thought about cryptocurrency and said that let it mature. Okay, what happened to them, right? Okay, those who got early into it, okay, they got benefits. We hear those stories and like that, right? So that is where we think, and you kept saying stack. Okay, this is not just the product. This is the products, partners, systems, processes, services, everything together, right? Use
Together.
case. Okay, so it's not a product. There's nothing called plug and play here, right? Because this is we work across multiple partners, multiple technologies to make it happen.
Got it. So, Mr. Shejale, my next question is about, since after the website, the services will be launched, what is the costing for the same? Like, what's the, is there any price range for for businesses and CMOs that they'll have to register or pay and then utilize it? How is it going to be?
Venu will take it, but again, it is not the website or a product or a service. Okay, use case will define use case will define the costing for it, right? For example, if you have multiple data sources and the Teradata happening in there, the integration of that data and itself could be a six months project, and on top of it, building the use cases. Again, depending on the use cases, which ML studio that you have to use and how to use it and how to implement, because the whole understanding to setting up to putting the model, analyzing the drift and probably doing the ML ops could be a very okay. So I don't know how to answer it. Okay, but research part of it is something which we are giving it when we will talk about it, and rest of the other, it depending on the use case and the complexity of the project that we will effort estimate and sort of get our
It's
customer
a,
up of
Ruchika,
it.
it's a classic question what every CMO asks, right? So, what does it cost? What will I get? So, in that, what we're saying is in this entire stack, which is a bunch of services, processes, and tools available, we don't want to leave you high and dry, right? We
Of
want to
course.
give this full thing for you exclusively. We will walk with you on this journey on how to use this services, this product, this processes together. Okay, it's not a SaaS product where you log in and the magic will happen. It's not that. We'll
Right.
give that, but through and through, we'll walk you through. In that, the first step of research, we're gonna give uh, exclusive access for you. Okay, which means you don't have to stress about cost. You don't have to stress about anything on step zero. We want to remove that. We believe that once you get into that journey, then deciding on which largest, smallest, medium use case you take, that will be a commercialization attached to it, like any marketing retailer, right? So, oh, if you want to use this generative social calendar generation use case, that will come with a cost. But if you want to solve a larger problem of let's marry all the data, let's put a propensity model, that's a large use case that will get associated. But the good thing is the step zero, if step zero itself cost you so much to get in, that's where the
Hmm.
barriers were coming. And we are saying
Right.
we are the first company who wants to because we have invested heavily into this space for last 2 years. We want to remove that. Come, let the industry come together. Let us demystify this. You will see the value. Go on step zero. I will help you. From step one, let's work like a partner.
Got it, sir. And coming to my final question, uh, just a short brief on how do you anticipate this? Like, how do you think the first reaction might be, what the feedbacks you might receive, and also the long term vision. What do you have for the AI stack?
So I will take it and then you can, yeah. So the there's a curse to do it first, always, right? The last 2 years has been all my gray hairs is because I'm trying to educate, saying, yeah, RI, let's adopt. And like typical one, there's early adopters, but then there's slow adopters and all of those things, right? So from using AI as a stack to solve a lot of marketing use cases, I believe we as a company have matured. Now we need to you make CMOs use that. The good thing is already we are probably crossing 5-7% of our overall group's revenue towards from AI. That means that is the adaptability we are seeing. We believe that like probably we are going into 15-20% space as we go into this year. That is purely from business. But from brand's perspective, I believe they will at 2025 will be the year where almost 70-80% of the market will realize the impact of the research and creative, generative piece of it. Predictive piece over the next 18 months, they will adopt. The second big one, they will start adopting because of the maturity of the AI space is the agentic AI. You will start hearing that, which is I know the research. Now I have to humanly take that and try to turn that into generate and then go, right? Agentic
Got
AI will start coming in, doing all those actions for you end to end. But that is probably 12 months away. But
it.
anybody who touches agentic AI mid this year will be a winner as you go into it. So the space of AI, they will adopt. We there's no doubt in our minds that the brands will adopt in all the three spaces.
Hmm.
moving away from just using it for generative piece, moving away to predictive and research piece, and early adopters into the agentic AI autonomously start using that as an action is what is. So we are fully in deep invested, continue to invest because it's a living stack, Ruchika. It's not that like today we have set it up and that's the end of it, right? So every 2 weeks we are adding new methods, new tools, new services around it. So this keeps growing at the heart of it, and that's how we are seeing this will play out. Prasad?
Understood.
Yeah, I think you covered it pretty well. So I expect the same thing. People, one of the most critical thing that we are doing it with all last 2.5, 3 years of experience of building this together, systems, processes, use cases, case studies, experimenting with pilot, building with partners. Okay, we are making this some part of it free for our customers to use it. Okay, so that removing the risk from them, right? And that's the reason
Correct.
I think if who wouldn't like it to start walking onto the path risk free. Okay, everyone would love to do that, right? Okay, and then of course, depending on the maturity and readiness of the clients, we would take them to the next level, to the next level, and next one. And in the good bad whichever way you look in part of it, it's so rapidly changing. Okay, so you need to have some partner who probably will keep on handholding with you in the whole journey. It's rapid. Okay, the change is so rapid. Okay, so what we are doing is while we are helping our clients to be ready and start walking onto the path, we are investing a lot, every minute, every second to make sure that we are ready with the new stuff, right? So it's a very symbiotic relationship wherein we are building the skills, they are adapting to it, and we are making sure that we will walk along with you on this journey of AI
Yeah, ready.
and data, right? AI readiness, right? And
Last piece
hopefully,
there.
sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, Prasad, last piece there. I think you should draw parallel to rewind 10 years back, 2012 to 14, when digital came in. At, at the early stage in the entire advertising and marketing community, digital was 2% and everything was traditional. Today, as of today, digital has crossed 52%. So it has taken 10 years for digital
Right.
to be embraced. But that in AI will be done in 2 years, right? So that's exactly what's going to happen, and we want to lead it up from the front. Ruchika.
Speed of change is going to be so rapid. Okay, so I would really, at the last statement, I would probably say that is AI is not a choice at all. It is by default, everyone has to walk onto it. By default, there is no choice.
Hmm.
And we are helping our clients and future clients, which is prospects now, to make sure that let's get on to that default AI view, right? Ruchika, anything from your side, Menu? Otherwise,
No, we are good.
it's done.
Very good. Thank you so much, Mr. Shejale and Mr. Gangana, for your time and for walking us through the AI stack, what it is about, how will it help the marketers and the businesses. Thank you so much again for your time.